So I haven't jumped in about a year out here in the Supes. And honestly kind of nervous, pretty much since I crashed out here. Oh my god! Oh. Had a gnarly landing, to say the least.
Let's start getting your gear up. Where'd your shoes go?
I fucking fell off. That was rough.
Yeah.
Basically two things out here. Last December, a little over a year ago now, had probably the closest call I've ever had since I started base jumping. Oh. And then July, this past summer, just made a bunch of poor calls and ended up fucking taking a downwinder that, I don't know how I didn't break my fucking legs. Had a homie that did, went right after me, but yeah, it was rough. Funny thing is, it didn't really get to my head necessarily. The landing more so did than the fucking cliff strike earlier this year. Fuck. Cliff strike more just kind of made me recalibrate. But I think it just further emphasized kind of a way I've felt about mortality since, you know, for a long time now. I'm gonna hike a bit. We'll reconvene with this midway up the trail. Still gotta come back and get the skin. I'm so out of shape. Luckily, it's a beautiful day today. Got a bunch of hikers on the trails down here. Yeah. It's about 8:30, I think. 9. So, it's still gonna be pretty cool up through the morning. 3-mile-an-hour winds. Should be a nice jump, but I'm still very scared of the landing. It's funny because every time I crash, or any time I've crashed, hasn't been a lot, but there has been a number, from landings, it makes you kind of overthink your landings for a little while they're forward. At least for me. I've heard other people experience the same, but it's just, fuck, dude. I remember coming up here when I first started, and I just felt like I was kind of rolling the dice. Always had very good landings. Always just kind of figured it out. Until basically I had that gnarly fucking crash burning in, jumping super coochie right here.
Nice push.
I want to see it. And then ended up landing right down here on this fucking talus, because there isn't really a lot of places to land other than over there. Trail, and then pretty much this talus. I fucked that up. Should not have done that so off the cuff. Should have thought it through more. Fuck, man. Gnarly ass winds. I'll play that video. So it's about 3 to 5 miles per hour left to right off exit, gusting 7, but the wind was also coming over the top of the mountain, pushing us down. There was so much sink that I actually thought something was wrong with my canopy from the beginning. I peek up at my canopy and then I realize I just don't know where I'm gonna land. I feel like I'm too low to the ground, where I'm losing too much altitude. If I were to turn left towards the trail where I was planning to land, I would be turning low and probably pound in. Even still, I can't make up my mind. I decided to try and go for it once, and then I tried to go for it a second time. Once I get close to the ground, this is when I realize how fast I'm going. The wind is channeled, it's probably 25, 30 miles an hour, and that's when I realize I'm fucked. Oh my god! Ah!
I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, me too. Holy fuck. Okay. Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Oh.
That fucking sucked. That sucked. There's a few other reasons that I haven't jumped a lot this past year. I've been dialing up doing more video projects for people, companies, brands, which is dope, you know, it's good to be busy. It doesn't leave a lot of time for everything else. And at a point, it's like if you're doing all this work, you're not enjoying it, kind of what's the point of it? The other side of it is if you're putting that time to good use, you're honing different skills or trying to learn new things, it's where it can kind of be worth the trade-off, you know? It's fine to put things on break for a while, I think. There's no reason to force something, especially something like this sport, where if you're not enjoying it, like, why are you forcing yourself to do something that's dangerous, you know? makes sense to put things on pause for a bit. So that's another thing. Seriously dying. I'll try to do this in about an hour. Try about 8:30. It's 9-ish. So if I can get down by 9:30, kind of sick. Honestly, I'm not really even sure what this video is supposed to be. Maybe it's just kind of a video diary in a sense, but I think it's helping. Oh yeah, another thing, or another reason why I'm a little nervous today is I'm jumping a new canopy, and every time I swap out new gear, the gear fear is always real when swapping the canopies out. Regardless of what canopy, it doesn't even matter. I mean, I like triple check every single one of those points, all of my soft links, double, triple check all my lines, everything. It's probably good that it stresses me out. If your canopy's rigged up wrong, then you're kind of fucked. So always feel it, always prepared for it. So yeah, base jumping's scary sometimes. Hey, Mr. Saguaro. Ooh. Ooh. Ah. Ooh. God, I'm also just really stoked to be up here. Really stoked to jump a new canopy. This canopy I've been waiting for 6 months now. No, it's probably been like 3 or 4 months. But I've been waiting to get a new canopy for probably like 6, 7 months. So I'm just stoked. Kind of wasn't too pumped on my previous canopy after a little while. Wanted something a little bit bigger. Jumped a 210. This one's a 220. This one also glides quite a bit better. A little sportier. Dude, the landings are just much nicer. And after, messing my knee up in July, I need these soft landings way more than ever. The moment I get back into base jumping, or I get back, talking more to the homies and stuff, it's like I immediately remember why I stuck in this sport. It's just like, dude, I fucking love the people, man. The jumping is sick, no doubt. But it's the homies, the shared adventures. It's just like there's so many more people in the sport that are just so much more openly willing to share themselves emotionally and just transparently and just be real about shit. It's I think that's a big piece of why, it's so much easier to make genuine connections for a lot of us in this sport. You quickly see how outside of the sport, people have their guards up. They're just so quick to turn down anybody opening up to them or being real with them, sharing the deeper side of life, and it just comes so much more quickly in the sport. And God, I fucking love that. And we're almost at the top. Almost all the way up, and ooh, I like this grass. I always like this grass. Makes me into a big gladiator. It always feels so much more peaceful up here up top. The air feels cleaner. I don't know if it's just an illusion. Maybe it is, but then if you look out, you see all the smog and stuff, the dirt and dust, and maybe I'm not crazy. But there is some kind of mountain meditation that comes along with being out here. Especially when you're alone. It's quieter. I feel like Survivor Man, coming back and getting my fucking camera every time. Alright, can I make it up this? Easy. Oh, schnitz. Alright, we're here. We're so back. First things first, though. How's my cactus garden doing? Hi, guys. You doing okay? Oh, this guy's not doing too good. He's drying up a little bit, but everybody else is good. Got a little bone collection that he started a little while back. It's nice to see it's still here. Nice leg bone or something. Can't really tell. Sick. Let's get geared up. Let's get geared up, yo. Man, it's been a while. Nice. Light breeze. Maybe we should see what the wind is doing off the ramp with this big ass oversized stick. Yeah. I swear if this is how I go in, throwing this off this ramp, I'm gonna be pissed. It's just always a little sketch. Let's see. Pretty still. I like it. It's also, oh, can't see schnitz. There's a flag right over there in that bottom left corner. Doesn't look like it's doing much. All right, time to mostly gear up. Let's set you up, maybe right here? I don't know. Oh yeah. Rock tripod, coming in clutch. Looks like we're set nicely. All right, let's do this, dog. Kind of nervous, mostly nervous about the landing. I'm just way in my head over it. I don't fucking like it. It's gonna be a good jump. Woo! I don't wanna wait for my life to be over. Good shape. This looks good. Man, I am hungry. What? What's going on? I want to do this jump. Schnitz. Do I want to do a gainer for safety? Or safety for safety? This is why I put this on first. Pain in my ass. Alright. Yeah. I think we're in good shape. You know, I should probably sit down and not fucking stand on this creaky ass old ramp that's got just a 2x4 holding it up. So this past year, fuck. Yeah, so that close call. I was jumping Super Bowl with Ryan and Kyler. Super simple as normal. Ryan went first. Did a super nasty tweener. I noticed when Kyler jumped before me that he had a little bit of delay, hesitation in his pilot chute opening. It was kind of weird. He was towing his pilot chute behind him for a little bit. I was like, oh, that's funny. Figured there might be a bit of sinky air. So Kyler went, and I went right after. Nothing crazy. I actually brought my camera because I was shooting them. Took a second and a half, 2-second delay. 3, 2, 1. Yep. And I was flying over this small spire that I usually fly over. I was in like maybe quarter brakes going towards it, and I was like, yeah, you know, I'm fine. I'll make it. And then last second I was like, oh shit, I don't think I'm gonna make it. Turn out of the way, going to full flight, and turn at the same time, and I got like no toggle response. It's fucking crazy. And I was like holding it for a second, wasn't getting anything, and I was salt coming up quick. Immediately let go, switched to risers. It's probably a big mistake. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna hit this goddamn spire. And I basically tumble over, look up, I'm in fucking line twist, facing another wall, and I'm like, oh piss, kick out of it, get out of it super quick, luckily. End up just cranking her right and getting out of there. It happened so fast that I was like, did that just really fucking happen? Like, did that just happen? The only like evidence I had of it just happening was that my fucking foot was so wrecked. It hurt so bad. My knee felt fucked up. I wasn't sure if I broke my leg or if I tore something or what happened. And I'm like just shook. I couldn't even process what just happened. So I'm just going through. I'm like, I just gotta fucking land. Like, I didn't even think about my landing, where I'm gonna land, trying to land in the wind or anything. I was just like all hit by the trail, kind of where my buddies were landing. And then I was like, you know what, maybe I'll land kind of away from them in case I fucking wreck and fuck this up. Try not to embarrass myself more. Not that I just fucking died. Like, that's not enough, but I'm trying to save face and crash somewhere a little more private. So I go and I land, kind of like jank up my leg a little bit. I like twist my ankle because my fucking knees are wrecked. My ankles are kind of fucked from this, you know, basically a cliff strike. Dude. So I land. Ryan sees me kind of like stumble a bit. He's like, oh, you okay? And I actually didn't tell Ryan or Kyler what just happened. And I think the reason was I was like in shock. I was still trying to process it. I still like didn't realize that just fucking happened. I felt really bad after that I didn't tell Ryan and Kyler what just happened. Remember the only thing Ryan actually said, he's like, hey, you came out of the bowl pretty low. Did you take a good delay? And I just said, you know, mumbled kind of, yeah, you know, just dazed and not paying attention. But that shook me up pretty good. But it didn't really change my perspective on bass really, because I think that's more of an existential thing. That was just kind of like an immediate, like, self-preservation thing. A lot of people might think they're the same, but they're, I think, in a lot of ways not. We don't want to get hurt. We don't want to experience pain, but, like, on an existential level, what I have come to internalize, you know, after losing friends in the past, we're all going to be there eventually. It's a lot like this. All of this is a lot shorter than we think it is. And that sort of realization came to me. A high school buddy of mine, we were in a car accident together, and he was the only one that was severely injured. I don't know how I was not, or how anybody else was not, but he ended up being quadrilated in that accident. That kind of changed my perspective on a lot of things, especially in high school. It's pretty tough to deal with for a 16-year-old, especially considering I was unscathed and we used to, you know, ride bikes all the time together. About 10 years later, he unfortunately passed. You know, he recovered as much as he could. He made a quadriplegic, but, you know, one night, he let his caretaker take the night off, you know, being kind of the homie he was, and he fell forward in his chair and suffocated, which is, you know, still feels like not a lot of closure for that happening, but he unfortunately passed that way. And he was the first, I think, good friend that I had that passed, and that struck me a lot, because it was like, he's already dead, and I'm still living. Like, he's already dead, just the time span that we had been on this earth. Like, I understood that because we're the same age. And it was like, damn, that's it. Like, that was all he got to experience. And it's like, you know, mine could be a couple months later, it could be a few days later, it could be, you know, just a couple years later, dude. And it's like, I remember the analogy that I thought of, like, that just, it for whatever reason, like, kind of painted the picture for me was, it feels like we're all kind of in this waiting room, and we're just kind of waiting for the doctor to call our name. We don't know when, you know, we don't know for what, but we're just kind of waiting, so we got to make the most of that time that we got. And that kind of thought sort of came back to me, like, with this. It's like, you know, like, in some ways that could have been it. And, like, granted, other people have had way more close calls. I'm not trying to make this seem like it's anything crazier than anything else anyone's experienced, but it was enough of an experience for me to be, like, one of the more defining experiences in this sport and kind of in my life in a way. Where I was, you know, faced with my mortality in a sense, and honestly, it hasn't made me really want to slow down at all. Like, in talking about everything that kind of caused me to slow down this year, that wasn't one of them. If anything, it actually pushed me to want to try things more, and actually it made me rethink what mattered a lot to me, and that's what led me into doing more of these creative things, you know, pushing more into creating videos and still wanting to jump, but that wasn't as high as I thought it was before this. And, like, towards the end of this year and just in the last few months, like, one of the biggest things that I've come to realize I love more than anything is friends and family, dude. And, like, with some of my most impactful and closest friends in this sport, it's like, that's another reason why I want to stay in it. You know, it's like, I want to have these shared experiences. I want to continue to grow with these people, live this kind of life with these people. And, you know, maybe not as much as before. Maybe I'm not going to be jumping as much as before, but I'm going to be jumping as much as I can. And yeah, there's so much beauty in it. Don't want to let that up. Don't want to get rid of that. And that's kind of where I'm standing. Just fucking love life, dude. You know? Life is just fucking so sick. And it's easy to take a lot of these things for granted. Hell, I mean, even the sport, it's like we become desensitized to these jumps and flying and, you know, just the incredible nature of it. Something you couldn't do 100 years ago, you know, 150 years ago. It's like humans were never able to do this. It's easy to take these things for granted. All right, I'm gonna get off this rock because I'm getting the gozies, as they say. 2, 1, see ya.